prediction markets are really good at predicting the future. We're back with Property Markets. Polymarket, the world's biggest prediction market, is in talks to raise more than $200 million in a new financing round. The company, which was founded in 2020, became popular last year for allowing people to bet on the US presidential election. It allows users to bet on all sorts of real-world events, such as elections and sports, and even Fed rate decisions. This new round, led by Founders Fund, will value Polymarket at more than $1 billion. So, Polymarket, which as of a couple of years ago was a pretty obscure website, is now set to become a unicorn. It's been just a stunning rise for this company. Cumulative trading volume recently surpassed $9 billion, a nearly 48x increase in less than a year. The number of monthly active traders on the platform is growing by 74% per month. They recently hit nearly 500,000 users at the beginning of the year, so just incredible growth. And now they're going to raise another $200 million to fund even more growth in a category that is already exploding. So Polymarket is the biggest platform, but we've also discussed another big prediction market on this podcast, and that is Kalshi. Kalshi is also seeing massive growth. They recently launched sports betting, and that is generating roughly $1 billion in trading volume in just 5 months. And unlike Polymarket, which is illegal in the US, Kalshi is legal here. It is federally approved by the CFTC. It's the first legal events exchange in America. There was a lot of debate over whether this stuff would stick after the election. It had a lot of hype during the election, but it apparently is going to stay. This is still very popular. So how should we feel about that? Well, on the one hand, there's pretty good reason to be anxious about it. He's warned that we are increasingly devolving from an investment economy into a gambling economy, whether it's the rise of day trading on Robinhood or even the explosion of sports betting. Roughly half of American men under 50 now have an online sports betting account. And Americans are increasingly becoming addicted to gambling. And as you might expect, it doesn't often lead to good places. States that have legalized online sports betting have seen a 28% increase in bankruptcy filings in just 4 years. So gambling is kind of a problem, and prediction markets won't really do much to help. They're essentially allowing Americans to gamble not just on blackjack and basketball games, but also on interest rates and political elections and cultural events. This is really the financialization of everything. And that is kind of concerning. At the same time, though, I do think we need to give these prediction markets some credit. Because as the CEO of Kalshi, Tarek Mansour, argued on my podcast, there is one great benefit that prediction markets have proven. And that is that they are remarkable tools for price discovery and also for truth discovery.
I have never said, by the way, these markets are always accurate. Nothing else. We can't say what the future holds, right? That doesn't make any sense. But what I can say is these markets are more accurate than alternatives. And I do stand by that.
Okay.
Right? Like if you look at the mean error of our forecast to everything else, we've been the most accurate on inflation forecast. Better than the Bloomberg Economist survey, a variety of other surveys.
Really?
Yeah. Fed interest rate decisions, climate and weather, even earthquakes. That doesn't mean we can forecast earthquakes.
And let's not forget, the single best predictor of the presidential election last year wasn't the political commentators or the political pollsters, was indeed the prediction markets. Markets like Kalshi and Polymarket and PredictIt. They all had it priced in before anyone else that Trump would indeed win the election. And they've proven this not just in politics, but in many other areas of society. So despite all the debates we had in the fall, the evidence is clear. Prediction markets are really good at predicting the future. Like the stock market, they do provide insight into basically anything and everything that is happening in the world. That to me is of value to society. I would also argue that it is of more value to society than, say, a casino, where the only point of its existence is to gamble. But these markets do a little bit more. They tell us about the future. So for now, I'm tentatively pro-prediction markets. I know Scott is against, but I think they're valuable. And I think that if we believe gambling at a casino is okay, then I don't see why we shouldn't view this as okay too. The only thing I would stress is that these prediction markets can only exist in a framework that is highly regulated. The danger of letting people bet on, for example, interest rates is that there is a good possibility that someone with a lot of power, i.e. Jerome Powell, could go in there and start betting on these markets as well. In other words, unregulated, insider trading could just get totally out of control. And that's why we need really strong regulation on these prediction markets. I think that means ID checks. I think it means age verification. And I also think it means absolutely no crypto. We cannot have anonymous traders betting on events from untraceable crypto accounts. That is a huge problem. By the way, it's also my biggest issue with Polymarket, which is powered by crypto. So overall, I'm down with prediction markets. And quite frankly, as we're seeing, the train has already left the station. They're here, they're staying. But we have to do it with guardrails. We need protections against insider trading, and we also need to be clear with people about the downsides. This is very much like gambling. And like gambling, it can be fun. But if you get addicted, and it's very easy to get addicted, well, it can also be devastating.